one, I don't know what to say about this setting, but I do have something to say about my guest right now. This is Matt Donato.
Hi.
You guys know Matt. Matt's done a box office prediction video, and right now we are both in New Orleans for the Overlook Film Festival, and we are in my appropriately creepy hotel room. It's a teeny tiny hotel room. There was nowhere to shoot this Godzilla King of the Monsters review, but on this bed right now, so I don't know, shadows, bad lighting, really awkward setting here, but we're gonna own it because we had to review Godzilla.
And we're professionals.
We are. We are pros sometimes. I hope I survived this trip. All right, Godzilla, King of the Monsters, third movie in this series following the 2014 Godzilla movie, then Kong Skull Island. How did this one measure up for you?
I put it behind Kong and Godzilla.
Oh, you're comfortable like full out ranking now.
Oh, well, you just said where would I put it?
I guess so.
To me, that's a ranking, but yes.
Hey, that was a fair assumption, and you just went for it.
I would give Godzilla like an A, and Kong...
Oh, you really like Godzilla.
I love Godzilla, and Kong Island for me, or Skull Island, sorry, is probably a good like A-, B+, so it was going to take a lot to dethrone those, and I don't think what Michael Dougherty has done has dethroned.
I am hesitant to rank them because whenever I do any ranking, I like to rewatch them all back to back to back before I feel fully comfortable. But I can tell you that I had an absolute blast watching this movie. I mean, this to me is basically a summer monster movie brawl. I think the visuals looked incredible across the board.
I agree with you. He makes this movie look tremendous visually. I think there are issues with the camera work. There were a lot of times I was struggling to watch what was going on screen. There's a lot of dark, really deep kind of like, the fight sequences take place at night, and there's rain, and there's chaos, and people are being thrown around, and you're trying to focus on the giant kaiju monsters and the people at the same time. And for me, there's a lot of clutter, and there's a lot of stuff that gets lost on the screen. So I had some issues with that visually, but I do agree with you that the monsters look amazing, and that's the selling point of this movie. You're watching King of the Monsters to watch monsters fight.
And they really go for it. And this movie doesn't really stop. And actually, probably my biggest criticism of the bunch is that as we get up to the third act of the movie, that's where it slows. And, you know, I feel like this has been something that's been true of most of this franchise, where the human material usually does pale in comparison to the monster stuff. And I will say here, he assembles an ensemble that actually stands out, because usually when you have like just the military and the scientist people, they are pretty much just folks that look like they are playing dress up and wearing glasses and pretending they're scientists. Here, one, I believed them all, and they also had chemistry with each other, which made them a charming group to root for.
Yes and no. I'm not going to agree with you 100% because I found myself really struggling with some of the chase sequences, I guess we'll call them, as Kyle Chandler's character is, well, we won't get into all of it, whatever, stuff like that, no specifics, but, you know, there's a chase happening, there's tracking happening, and Monarch has to find something, and the villains, I guess we'll call them the villains in this film, their motivations are kind of just flip-flopping at times. It got really frustrating, and what kills it is the runtime for me. That's the thing. Yeah. It goes on for too long. An hour-and-a-half long, 90-minute version of this, that you cut down the human elements of it, and you just have a lot of kaiju fighting, that's like a 4 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. This does feel a little bit bloated, and I think some of the human decision-making that happens, it's a little tough to believe and get behind, but you know, when it's this kind of movie and you get swept up in the next action sequence, I at least brushed that aside. But also, one thing they do really well with the humor is a lot of times when you hear, you know, one of those silly, cheesy lines, then another character will make fun of it, so it's almost like
it grounds it again, because
a little bit, it's like getting away with it.
See, again, one of my issues is that it doesn't get away with it. You have the characters that make these STD jokes and these random things that come out of nowhere. It's a very sincere and dark and family-oriented film. And, like, it's about eco-terrorists at times. And, like, we have to be very conscious of what we're doing to this world. And then you have the one character, played by Bradley Whitford, who is amazing. My favorite character in the whole movie, he doesn't belong in this movie. I didn't see him as having any chemistry with the rest of the cast because he feels like he's in some kind of like Independence Day crazy scientist mode, and everyone else is super serious. And like they just look at him whenever he makes one of these jokes.
Teaming up with Dr. Oken.
Exactly, that's exactly all I thought. But like he'll make a joke, and everyone looks at him kind of like, why are you doing this? And like we kind of have that reaction too. Like I mean, at least I did, going like, pick a tone, stay with it, and commit to it fully. Because every time you make that joke, you take me out of the severity of what's happening.
No, I mean, it's a fair point. I definitely did not have that same exact reaction. I think it came together a little bit better.
And that's why
for me.
Movies are amazing.
I know. You could like whatever you like, and it's fine.
Crazy.
You could not like something, and that's fine too. Isn't that great?
I don't know what that feels like because I'm a film critic and apparently I'm biased, so that's fine.
As for Millie Bobby Brown, because this is a big deal for her, obviously after Stranger Things hit it big, now this is her first big blockbuster movie where she's in a leading role, and I don't think she got enough to work with. I think she could have made a lot more of that character with more material, but the scenes she gets, I mean, she crushes it. She's an absolute natural.
Yeah, and because all she really has to do is stare at monsters. And, I mean, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. She does it well.
She's got some meteor scenes.
She does, yeah, to a degree.
Yeah.
Again, this comes back to me with the human element.
She's got some meteor scenes, but now that I'm replaying the movie in my mind, this isn't anything, a criticism of her performance whatsoever, but there's a couple of believability issues, like, how did she do that? I think do you know what I'm talking about?
I'm curious. We won't say it, but...
we'll say it after we finish this video.
Yeah. But yeah, so again, that to me is what keeps coming back about King of the Monsters. It's a movie where I kept repeating the line from Godzilla, let them fight, in my head, because they wouldn't just let the monsters fight the whole time. Like, have that be the movie. Have that be most of the movie, 90% of it, and who cares about the humans at this point? Because you have, at one point, 17 Titans running around the globe. Why is there not some massive Royal Rumble happening? I wanted more out of the actual Titans, and we didn't get that. And again, I keep going back to the fact that this is 130 plus minutes, right over that threshold, and you pare that down into something that is just a lot of the monsters, and you shave off all that like fat and gristle from the human arcs that everyone is kind of complaining about, and to the people saying, but that's not why I watch a kaiju movie, I watch the kaiju movie for the monsters, I agree with you, and that's tremendous. The fight sequences are very good, but the fact is this movie is so long that those fight sequences get lost in the stuff that doesn't work as well. There's too much of that.
I think they stand out quite well, but I do think there's just a little too much. And when I compare this in particular, because Kong Skull Island is freshest in my brain,
and it's so much fun.
I think the human element in this is far stronger than that one. No? I'm losing this battle too. It's okay.
No, you're not losing any battle. You're not losing.
Here's one human
plus,
character.
The ensemble in Kong is far better than this ensemble. His characters are like action hero 101 kind of stuff. He doesn't really do much with them besides what is expected of them. It's the cheesiness that you mentioned before. For me, it doesn't work as well because it is all generic. It is all cookie cutter. We've seen it 100 times before. And again, if there was more monster fighting, that's fine. I
would never say no to more monster fighting. The monster fighting I did get, though, I was very happy with.
And I was too, and I'm not arguing that. Beautiful choreography of giant meat.
It looked good.
Beefy Godzilla. He was beefed.
He really was.
He was beefed.
He was.
Yeah.
My one, major gripe with the human ensemble, though, is this movie does not have enough Sally Hawkins. No. Just no. No. We have come to that time in the video where we have to give a score. You know how we work scores on this YouTube channel. Do you want me to go first, or do you want to do the honors?
I want you to go first.
All right.
No, I want you to go first.
My score for Godzilla, King of the Monsters is going to be, let's go with 3.5 Deweys out of 5 on the Dewey Decimovie scale. That is what I'm locking in right now. I feel pretty good about that. To me, this was kind of exactly what I needed at this time of the year. I wanted to see a movie with kaiju, with the Titans going at it, with Godzilla in the spotlight, and I feel like Michael Dougherty really delivered in that respect. Obviously, there are some weak spots as far as the human characters go, certain decision-making, certain logic issues that I had, but overall, for the most part, the pacing only suffered a little towards the end of the movie where I would have wanted to trim it down a little bit. But for the most part, I was along for the ride, and I was fearful. I was fearful for the characters the entire time, but more so the Titans and not so much the human characters. But you know what? I'm okay with that.
I don't care about humanity at this point. We should be eradicated. I mean, what, is that too sad? Is that too sad for this YouTube channel?
No, but it's okay. We're all entitled to our opinions, I guess.
Should I give my Dewey
Yes, you should.
Scale? Yeah, so I'm sorry if I was too negative on the film because I don't want to oversell that. Because
you own your opinion.
Well, I'm going to say though, but I'm giving it a 3 out of 5. I mean, a solid 3 out of 5, as in what you said. It's a blockbuster summer movie. It's got all the effects, all the big fighting, everything you want from a movie titled Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish it was more honed down. I wish it was trimmed. I wish someone took a look at this and kind of said, like, all right, the monster stuff is our strength. Let's make sure there's not a lot of time in between where the characters can kind of mess this up.
All right.
Because they do in a little way. But yeah, the scale of this film is amazing. And my last thing I'll say is I love watching these movies because I love feeling like the insignificance of looking at a screen and seeing something that is so much bigger than you and so much bigger than any of us. And that's what this film nails. So that's where it won me back.
Cool. I like ending on that note. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching this movie review. If and when you see Godzilla, King of the Monsters, you know what to do. Hit that comment section below. Share your thoughts right there. Thank you for watching this review in this really awkward setting, but you know what? It's cool we're here. We're going to live it up at the Overlook Film Festival. Like and share this movie review, and I'll see you soon with more of them.
Bye.